Hi, it's Tuesday, the 11th day of October, 2022. I am Dan Kuntz. This is live television. We can't start over again. Happy Tuesday. It is 4 weeks to Election Day. We got some clean air out there. Thank you very much, Mother Nature. Just as predicted, that low came through yesterday afternoon, brought in a few high clouds, really kicked up the wind, had some wind above 40 miles an hour at times. Up at Pangborn, pretty much scoured out the sky. Everybody has in our viewing area. For the most part, good air quality. Two exceptions. In Peshasta near 60, that's moderate. And for reasons that I don't know why, somehow it got trapped up there in Winthrop. Winthrop, your air quality is at 120, which is unhealthy for sensitive groups. Good news is we got some clean air for a couple of days. Bad news is another ridge of high pressure is going to start building up, and it's going to intensify, it's going to amplify, it's going to gradually move right over eastern Washington, and it's going to park itself there for a long time. So unfortunately, by Thursday and quite possibly certainly Friday, we could go right back to some pretty lousy air. Same scenario that we had. Inversion layer, fires picked up a little bit in intensity, as you might imagine, with the winds that came through. Got them going a little bit, and there'll be no place for the smoke to go. So we could go right back to unhealthy or even worse air by Thursday night into Friday. We'll keep a close eye on that. Baseball, the divisional series begins today. 4 games back to back. Starts at 10 o'clock this morning with the Braves and the Phillies. Doesn't end until whenever the Padres and the Dodgers get done in Los Angeles. I'm a happy guy. It's my favorite sporting event of the year. And, of course, a certain team from the Pacific Northwest begins their quest in round 2 against the Astros. Needless to say, that's going to be our top sports story. Plus, we'll have news, in-depth weather forecast. And in case you missed it yesterday, and if you did, what's the matter with you? We're going to replay the interview I did with Katie Batson from Human Resources at the Wenatchee School District, because their hiring expo, hiring fair, hiring event, whatever you want to call it, is tomorrow afternoon at the Wenatchee School District headquarters. As you know, they need warm bodies. They are very short-handed in any number of departments at the Wenatchee School District. If you're looking for a part-time or even a full-time job, and you think you might be good at it, Katie's going to give you that very important information as we get going. It is 55 degrees outside our studios. Let's start our tour. And I think we'll be able to see a few things. Now, it doesn't look too bad. I say, wait a minute, it's still a little smoky. Well, it's still a little smoky. We're 48 on the scale. That's good. But if it gets to 51, which isn't too far away, that's moderate. So, but it's nice to be able to see, Birch Mountain and Sunny Slope and Sleepy Hollow in that area again, which was invisible for a while. But again, where that axis of that ridge is just going to sit there. We're going to go, we hit, what did we hit yesterday? 78. Today's forecast high is 75. That's the coolest afternoon high in the forecast period for the next 7 days. We've got 19 consecutive days with our afternoon high not only above normal, but well above normal, like in double digits. We're going to continue to do that. Our normal high this time of the year is 64. That's not going to happen for a long time. Camera number 2. Let's take a look at a gorgeous sunrise, I want to say, up in the Waterville area. And you can see there's still some residual smoke up there. Again, the farther north you go, the dirtier the air. It's 58 right now in Chelan. It's 58 in Brewster. There is not an air quality monitor in Waterville, but it looks like it might probably be in the moderate range. Beautiful sunrise, which is happening in just about 10 minutes here in the Wenatchee Valley. Sunrise officially is at 7:14. By the way, sunset tonight, 6:20. That's 11 hours and 6 minutes of daylight. Camera 3. Ooh, that's good. Is that Badger Mountain? Badger Mountain camera, pointing, I believe, almost southeast towards Rock Island. That's a guess. It's an educated guess, but it's a good one. That's what I'm thinking anyway. That's on top of Badger Mountain, way up on top of the East Wenatchee Bench. That's pointing north. Oh, thank you. That's pointed up towards Chelan and Rondo. Okay, thank you for that information, Captain. By the way, I did. We have records. We keep archives. I looked this up. I was curious about what the weather was on October 11th of last year, October 11th of 2021. Our high temperature was 57 degrees, and it snowed in the mountain passes. We have 0 precipitation in the long and short-term forecast. We're going to show you that too. And camera 4. Leavenworth takes a bow. I want to say that's the Tumwater Canyon camera. Again, Leavenworth is considerably closer to the White River and Irving Peak fires. The White River and Irving Peak fires are no longer two separate fires. They joined together a couple of weeks ago, so it's basically one fire now. They're calling it the White River fire, and it's still burning high above the White River in the Lake Wenatchee area, and so you got a little more smoke in the Leavenworth area. So there you go. What we really need is rain. Until we have significant measurable precipitation, the fires are going to keep right on burning. And we also need some cooler temperatures and higher relative humidity. None of that, unfortunately, is in the forecast. There's your 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Look at that big maroon dot right over the Pacific Northwest. We have a 90% chance of seeing our temperatures above normal right through October 20th. Which by my math is still 9 more days. You don't see that very often. We are going to be very mild and unfortunately very dry. Your 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, again from October 16th to the 20th, looks like this. We have about a 70% chance of not seeing any precipitation in the Pacific Northwest area, certainly in the Wenatchee Valley. We are going to be very dry, very mild, and unfortunately, again, the folks who handle the smoke forecasts, they are thinking that we could go right back to some unhealthy air by Thursday night into Friday and right into the weekend. We need rain. There is no rain from the National Weather Service. Here we go. Yeah, it's hard to say. 75 is going to be the coolest day in the forecast period, and our normal high is 64 degrees. Wow. We've got 19 consecutive days with our afternoon high temperature above normal, and I mean really above normal. We could go upwards of maybe 30 days of this unbelievably mild weather. 75 today, 50 for the overnight low. We do it again on Wednesday. We start talking maybe a little bit of smoke on Thursday. Now, we didn't put that in the forecast because they're kind of hedging their bets a little bit. A lot of it depends on the relative humidity, how damp it gets in the overnight hours. That helps tamper down the fires. But the folks think that we're probably right back to some smoke Thursday night into Friday. But look how high those temperatures are, 80 degrees on Sunday. Our record high for this day, by the way, is 78. And starting Thursday, day after tomorrow, we can start breaking some serious records, and we could do so for a long period of time. It's mid-October. This is not normal weather. It would be gorgeous if it wasn't for the smoke. 8 minutes after the hour, a 60-second break, and your news. You're watching a Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
To understand someone better, walk a mile in their shoes. Or ride along in their patrol car. That's what I do with local police officers here in Washington. To hear their concerns firsthand, then fight for them in Congress. It's why I got police more funding for bulletproof vests and body cameras, and more mental health officers so cops can stay focused on fighting crime. I'm Kim Schreier, and I approve this message because our local police deserve our support.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think I'll sell my veggies at the market.
You even remember to water the house plants. I do this?
You can do this.
Hey, we need to build a home office. We're adding another bathroom.
I think I'll study programming.
Bro, you can't even connect your phone to Bluetooth.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
A little haze in the Wenatchee Valley. Obviously, as you just saw, a little bit more in Leavenworth. We're at 55 degrees. We'll double that. We'll get about 75 or so for the afternoon high today. Fairly clear skies, but again, as a second high pressure ridge begins to build up, and this is a big one, just like it was that affected our weather for the last 10 days or so. We had a little break yesterday. We could go right back to smoky skies by the end of the week. 10 minutes after the hour. An East Wenatchee man already charged with allegedly sexually assaulting a child in Douglas County now faces similar charges in Chelan County. 31-year-old Michael Alvarez Espinoza is one of 2 men charged September 26th with child rape and sexual exploitation of the same 12-year-old victim. Now, he remained free on a $20,000 bond in his home county, but last Thursday, Chelan County Sheriff's deputies arrested him again for alleged sexual abuse of another minor victim in Entiat 3 years ago. Police say Espinosa made recordings of the alleged crime and shared them with others. The victim was 16 years old at the time. A Chelan County judge ordered Espinosa jailed last week on a $300,000 bond. Deputies are seeking up to 12 criminal charges, including child sexual exploitation and distribution of child pornography. A gunshot apparently fired from a vehicle narrowly missed a man inside his East Wenatchee bedroom. This happened late Sunday night at about 9:45 p.m., according to East Wenatchee Police. They received multiple reports of gunfire in the area of 3rd Street Northeast and North James Avenue. That's pretty close to Eastmont High School. One caller saying their house with 5 occupants inside had been hit. Police Chief Rick Johnson said security footage showed multiple vehicles passing by the home at the time of the shooting. He said anybody with information on the incident should call Rivercom, their non-emergency line, at 509-663-9911. A motorhome destroyed in a fire early Monday morning in Wenatchee's Old Station. Wenatchee Valley Fire Department spokeswoman Kay McKellar said the fire at Chester Kim Road and Technology Center Way reported just before 6 a.m. She said there were explosions reported from the motorhome. A nearby tree was also ignited. McKellar said there was a man lying in the street when firefighters arrived. Apparently the man refused aid and walked away. The cause of the fire, not known at this time. The upper Chelan River will remain closed to catch and release fishing. The Washington Fish and Wildlife Commission voted unanimously to turn down a petition which sought to open that stretch to bass and trout anglers for the first time in 7 years. The Chelan County PUD owns the land along that stretch of the river, and they also control the Lake Chelan Dam above it. That agency maintains restricted access to the riverbank, citing safety concerns below the dam. Wildlife commissioners heard testimony about the proposal in a meeting a couple of weeks ago in Ocean Shores. They rendered their decision on Friday.
It creates a situation where we might be opening something where we don't really even have access to, regardless of what we do.
It seems like most of the folks would like to take their chances in there and use their own judgment as to, how much to be safe. There's different parts of the river that are probably more safe than others. There's different parts of the river that are probably more dangerous than others. But perhaps it's a little bit moot if the landowner is going to prohibit trespassing there anyway. It's effectively closed.
The agency that one more story. I'm sorry. The fires that are still burning in the Washington landscape, they're still there, as you know, but state fire officials marked the close of the fire season last Friday, noting the fewest acres burned by wildfire in a decade. Just over 140,000 acres have been consumed since the start of summer. More than 480,000 acres burned last year. 842,000 acres burned the year before. Commissioner of Public Lands Hillary Franz and other leaders at the Department of Natural Resources gave a post-game briefing on this year's fire season.
So what we knew going into this fire season was that the wet spring would promote heavy growth of grass and other flame fuels. And that heavy growth would drive rapid fire spread. What we didn't know is that we would get this prolonged dry period with really no breaks from the weather in terms of precipitation. And that driest summer on record has been interspersed with dry lightning events and a substantial east wind period that put large fires on the landscape like Bolt Creek and Goat Rocks that are going to persist and need to be managed till that season-ending event. So the strategy going in, DNR staffed up with additional aircraft. We added heavy helicopters. We added large air tankers to the fleet, knowing that they would be useful when we got those ignitions that were inevitable. On the ground, we also worked closely with our partners, both in the state of Washington and from other states, to bolster DNR's crews and engines that are at the ready by pre-positioning equipment, both from our partners and from out of state.
Of course, while we are past peak fire season and the weather conditions, that does not mean that we will not still see sporadic fire activity during the remainder of the year. And the Bolt Creek fire, for example, right here on the west side state still has crews mopping up and monitoring it. Bolt Creek has reminded us that wildfire doesn't see boundaries. As climate change and other factors have worsened the length and impact of our fire seasons in Washington state, turning them instead into true fire years, wildfire is no longer an East Side issue. It is an entire state issue. We all must take measures to fight wildfire spread, preserving our lands and our properties, and most importantly, keeping our communities and our firefighters safe. The mild fire damage we experienced this year is truly cause for celebration. I know our firefighters at the local, state, and federal level definitely feel it. I know many of the communities that have been on the front lines of wildfire every single year for the past decade definitely feel it.
And now you know what's going on as we get going on this Tuesday morning, and you'll know what happened on this Tuesday by the end of the day today with the news with Grant Olson at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, available on our Facebook page and our homepage, too, in case you consume your news that way. And with the preview, here's the man himself.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we will have your latest real estate snapshot for the Wenatchee area, where house prices are actually holding steady. Sunny skies in our Tuesday forecast as the mild early fall weather continues. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom has a look at tonight's high school sports action, as well as a preview of today's divisional playoff game between the Mariners and the Astros. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. And don't forget, if you have a news tip, you want to drop us a note, we'd love to hear from you. It's as much your station as it is ours. NCWLife.com is our website, also our Facebook page. Go ahead and chime in on the Messenger app. Just go to our Facebook page. Pretty simple if you know how to do that. Or you can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. Mariners, Astros, something's got to give. Hopefully the Mariners will get out of Houston with a victory. That's all we want. We'll take one victory of the two down in Houston. We'll preview Game 1 of the ALDS when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I believe we've been coming to Abby's for 56 years, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
56 years.
Remembering all the events as a family and a community that we spent at Abby's.
Excellent and delicious food at an affordable price. We're delighted that we live close enough to be able to be a frequent customer.
And we are.
And we are. In fact, we've got orders to bring home a giant pizza when we leave here tonight.
It's the NCW Life Community Calendar, brought to you by Cling Connection. The series of seasonal nature walks hosted by the Wenatchee River Institute continues this month with Autumn Ambles. It's a leisurely 2-hour walk through Waterfront Park in Leavenworth as experts explain the natural and cultural history of the area. Plus, you can see the golden leaves of fall and the spawning salmon. The next 2 Autumn Ambles are on October 14th and on October 20th. Go to WenatcheeRiverInstitute.org for more details. 19 minutes after the hour. In case you missed it, it's the Mariners and the Astros. Game 1 of the American League Division Series. 12:37 first pitch down at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Logan Gilbert gets the start for Seattle. Justin Verlander, the future Hall of Famer, starts for the Astros. The game will be broadcast on TBS. Seattle trying to reverse a trend in today's game and the series, and that's to beat a team that, quite frankly, has owned the Mariners for quite some time.
Obviously, you know, the Astros have a very talented team. They've dominated the division here for a number of years. They've got everybody in their roster has got a lot of postseason experience. So we understand that. We understand what we're up against. We are super excited to be here. Okay, and our team's done a lot of things here over the last couple months to put ourselves in this position, and we feel really good about our chances. We've got to go out and play. Okay, the game is taken care of on the field. Doesn't really matter what I say here, but we're looking forward to it.
Numbers are pretty sobering. The Mariners are 30-7 against the Astros since 2019. That includes, Houston's 130 and only lost 7 over the last 3 years. They are 11-6 against the Mariners this season, 8-2 at Minute Maid Park for Logan Gilbert and his teammates. They're focused on bringing postseason baseball back to the Pacific Northwest.
Really exciting, just winning last series and knowing that we're going to have home games in Seattle. And we feel the energy, we see it, we feed off it. They've been so good to us for so long, and the city's ready for it. So it's going to be really exciting going back there and just seeing T-Mobile packed and feel the energy being out there. As far as the Astros, we've faced them a lot this year. We've went back and forth. We've won some, they've won some. I think at this point it just comes down to execution. We've seen each other a lot of times and familiar with each other, and they have a lot of good players, so it just comes down to execution.
Astros have outscored the Mariners at Minute Maid Park by an average of 4-2 in the 10 games they played down there this season. Adam Frazier knows that if the Mariners want to get more than one game at home, they gotta win at least one game in Houston.
Very excited about being able to give the fans in the city of Seattle a home playoff game. I know something they've wanted for a long time, and us as players have wanted as well. So, we got to take care of business here. A couple games here in Houston, tough place to play. We know they're a really good team. We played them a lot throughout the season, so we know what they got. Play good baseball, you got a chance to win. So, one game at a time.
All right, your schedule, Game 1, again, first pitch, 12:37. At Minute Maid Park. It's on TBS. Game 2 Thursday. That's right, they got tomorrow off. Also at 12:37. Saturday's game at T-Mobile Park for Game 3. We don't know what time that game will start. If Seattle forces a Game 4 at T-Mobile Park on Sunday, then we got some issues because the Seahawks are supposed to play against the Cardinals at 1 o'clock on Sunday at home. But the Seahawks, Major League Baseball and the NFL are working to figure that out. We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe getting ahead of our spells. Speaking of the Seahawks, Seattle's going to be without running back Rashad Penny for the rest of the season. He broke his leg in Sunday's loss at Nolens. To fill his spot on the roster, Seattle signed running back Tony Jones off of waivers from the Saints. Coach Pete Carroll said it's all about having depth moving forward.
This guy that made their team, has been with them all year to this point, and he's strong, tough, versatile guy, catches the ball okay, coming out of the backfield. We're looking for some immediate boost, particularly in the depth. I like DJ Dallas playing football. He's had a great preseason for us. He'll play a lot more with Kenneth, and a couple weeks from now we'll see Homer coming back out too. So Darwin Thompson will get a chance to help us too, possibly, as we move forward. So we'll see how that goes. He's been a good steady force with us. We've seen him a lot. But we're looking for depth right now and making sure that we can stay competitive, in practice and in preparation and all of that.
Seahawks host the Cardinals Sunday at Lumen Field. What time they play? Again, we don't know yet. We'll just have to wait and see. It's scheduled for 1 o'clock on Fox. That may change. The prep schedule got underway Monday for volleyball and girls soccer. To the Les Schwab scoreboard we go. On the volleyball courts, Cashmere swept Cascade 3-0. Antioch topped Moses Lake Christian 3-1. Soap Lake edged Pateros 3-2. The volleyball schedule today. It's Antioch hosting Wilson Creek at 6:30. You got Tenasket at Manson. Orville hosts Liberty Bell. Lake Roosevelt visits Bridgeport. Waterville Mansfield welcomes Moses Lake Christian. Brewster hosts Okanagan. Chelan's at Cashmere. Omak plays hosts to Cascade. As far as the bigger schools, Ephrata has a home match tonight against Sela at 6:30. Wenatchee's on the road at Sunnyside. Eastmont will host Moses Lake, and by golly, we're going to be there. Yeah, we'll be broadcasting it live right here on the NCAA Life channel tonight in high definition and monophonic sound. The Wildcats are looking for their second win of the Big 9 season. The Mavericks looking to stay above 500. Eric with the call, play-by-play, right around 6:50 or so tonight here on the NCAA Life channel. One soccer score from Monday. Quincy beat Omak. The final was 2-1. Lots of soccer today. To the pitch we go at 4 o'clock. Omak will host Cascade. At 4:30, you got Quincy at Brewster. Liberty Bell hosts Okanagan. Manson's at Tenasket, and Lake Roosevelt will host Bridgeport. At 5 o'clock, you got Pateros and Orville, and then Chelan and Cashmere will get going at 6:30. And at 7 o'clock tonight, Eastmont and Moses Lake, Wenatchee will host Sunnyside. Everybody into the pool. It's Kids Swim. Moses Lake is hosting West Valley at Sunnyside. Wenatchee's on the road at Lions Pool in Yakima to take on Davis and Ike. Both meets get underway at 4 o'clock. And finally, if you're a Mariner fan and you need a little more excitement, you must face your fears. Or you can watch this video.
Dear Mariners fans, together we ended the drought. Celebrating with you that night was something we will always remember.
47,000 fans are going crazy here at T-Mobile Park, and the magic carpet ride continues. They never give up.
But it's time to forget about quiet Octobers and restless off seasons. That storyline is done.
And they're going to take us to the playoff. The 20-year drought, forget about it.
We have a really good team, and we got more special baseball ahead of us.
We have the guys to compete against anybody.
There's only one goal now: win the whole damn thing.
We've got a real good team. The goal is to get in the playoffs and go deep and win this thing.
It's something we've dreamed of as kids, and it's been the sole focus of this team since spring training.
That's really tagged well.
Outsiders may have written us off.
They might be the first team that we've actually pronounced dead. It's over, and they're not going to recover.
But inside this clubhouse, we've always believed.
9 strikeouts for Robbie Ray. Line drive, base hit, game over!
We want to win for each other, win for this city, and win for you.
He got him! Logan Gilbert pumps his fist!
You are loyal, passionate, and energetic. We would not be in this position without you.
When fans are there, when it's loud every single pitch, when everybody's hanging on every single pitch, that was playoff baseball right there.
And the atmosphere you create at T-Mobile Park is unmatched.
This place is an electric factory, man. As a player, this is the kind of atmosphere you dream about playing in front of all year round.
The hunger and passion you have to win is the same hunger we have in our locker room.
And these fans were just going ballistic.
The more people show up, the more energy we will have.
You know, the crowd's bringing that energy every inning.
We're ready to reintroduce Mariners baseball to October.
I think the sky's the limit. The talent that we have in that clubhouse is something really special.
Our only goal is to bring a championship home.
I've said it before and I'll say it again.
Sock demolished. Holy smokes!
This is just the damn start.
What a magical finish. The Mariners are going to the playoffs.
12:37, first pitch on TBS. Guess what I'll be doing at 12:37 this afternoon? I won't be at work. Cat's out of the bag. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Tuesday, the 11th day of October. I could have chosen National Sausage Pizza Day for your obscure holiday. I chose not to, even though I like it. I could have chose National Southern Food Heritage Day. I'm not going to do that. I don't like my food cooked in lard for the most part. No, today is National Face Your Fears Day today. We got a preview of it earlier. Ooh, it's always the second Tuesday of October. They use the spooky season, Halloween season, for you to come to grips with your fears. Everybody has anxieties. Everybody has at least one phobia. Kids, their anxiety has tendency to be rooted in, specific. Adults who have anxieties that have a tendency to be more abstract. Who's kidding who? All kids have anxiety. It usually dissipates as you get older. I have the top 10 phobias. I looked this up on the internet. This is a real. This internet site that I saw looked legitimate. Had nice graphics and a good, pleasurable font, and it listed the top 10 phobias among Americans. This isn't worldwide. This is just Americans. Number 10 on the phobia list: arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. Number 9, odeophobia, the fear of snakes. Number 8, acrophobia, the fear of flying. I don't have that. I'm not afraid of flying. I'm afraid of crashing. That's always been a big thing with me. Number 7, aerophobia. That's the fear of flying. The other one was fear of heights. Number 6, cynophobia, the fear of dogs. It is the only one of the top 10 phobias that isn't really ingrained. People are afraid of spiders and afraid of snakes. Most people who suffer from cynophobia had some sort of thing with a dog when they were a kid. They got bit by a dog or chased by a dog or something like that. That's where that comes from. Number 5, astrophobia, the fear of thunder and lightning. Number 4, typophonia phobia, the fear of injections, shots in the arm, or any place else for that matter. The third biggest phobia is the fear of speaking in public. Doesn't really have a phobia. It's more of a social phobia. That's number 3. Number 2, agoraphobia. Agoraphobia, the second most. That's the fear of being alone. And the number 1 phobia, this is by far the number 1, mysophobia. Mysophobia, number 1, the fear of germs. Here's your top 10 phobias. So if you have a fear, and by the way, I read this the other day, they're using virtual reality to address that. It's the latest big thing in therapists to address your fears as they're using VR. Might work for me. It's the bottom of the hour. Today in history, on this date in 1910, 112 years ago today, former President Theodore Roosevelt, he was no longer president, Taft was the president, but former President Theodore Roosevelt became the first U.S. president to fly in an airplane. There he is. Arch Huxley is the pilot. The plane was built by the Wright brothers. They flew around for 4 minutes. It was a big publicity stunt. Happened in St. Louis. And by the way, it cost the taxpayers $242,000 for the former president to fly 4 minutes in an airplane. Nobody complained. Happened on this date 112 years ago today. Happy 47th birthday to Saturday Night Live. That's the TV Guide issue from October 11th, 1975. It took me a while to find it. Saturday Night Live debuted. George Carlin was the host of the very first episode, and you would think George Carlin would have hosted many, many episodes. It was the only episode he ever hosted, believe it or not, was the first one. Saturday Night Live came about because earlier in 1975, when Johnny Carson signed a new deal with NBC, part of his agreement with NBC is no more Tonight Show reruns on Saturday nights. For many years, NBC was feeding their affiliates, the 115 affiliates, reruns of The Tonight Show for Saturday night at 11:30. Johnny said, no more. Or you pay me for them, and they said no. And so all of a sudden, all the NBC affiliates said, what are you going to do on Saturday nights come October of this year? So they created Saturday Night Live. And the legend has always been, never been confirmed, that they always invited Johnny Carson to host the very first episode of Saturday Night Live each season while he was still alive, but he never did it. The show was originally called, as you see there, NBC's Saturday Night, because there was already a show called Saturday Night Live, hosted on ABC by Howard Cosell. When that show was canceled in the next year, they changed the name from NBC's Saturday Night to Saturday Night Live. It's 47 years old today. And finally, 21 years ago today, Polaroid didn't think that this whole digital photography thing was going to be much of anything. They didn't anticipate the popularity or the impact of digital cameras. They stuck with film, and they paid the price 21 years ago today when Polaroid filed for bankruptcy. The 45 top executives of the Polaroid Corporation all got big fat bonuses. Then they declared bankruptcy. So the stockholders, the shareholders, and the employees got squat. And by the way, the company that ended up reorganizing Polaroid, Petters Group Worldwide, itself filed for bankruptcy 7 years later. Well done, Polaroid. 33 minutes after the hour, birthdays. Without question, the most significant first lady in this country's history, I don't think there's any debate about it. Maybe Hillary Clinton might have an argument with that. But Eleanor Roosevelt, the 39th First Lady of the United States, carried tremendous political clout. Franklin Roosevelt just let her do whatever she wanted to do, and he had the great comeback. He said, she's my wife. I can't control what she does. Turns out she did really well for herself. The legendary First Lady, the best of them all. Eleanor Roosevelt, born in the state in 1884, died in 1962 at the age of 78. And Patty Murray is 72 years old today. She is in her 5th term in the Senate. She is the 6th most senior member of the Senate and the 3rd most senior Democrat in the Senate, and she's running, of course, for another term. Patty Murray is 72 years old today. We're going to take a break. Got an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty. In case you missed it yesterday, they need warm bodies. They need people to take up the slack at the Wenatchee School District. Katie Harmon for the Wenatchee School District's HR department will give you those details when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Chuck Dronan, Managing Member at Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living. It's been a tough year for all of us, but especially for those working and living in senior care facilities. Over the course of these many difficult months, our staff at Eplodolin has been vigilant in adhering to federal and state guidelines to protect and assure the safety of our residents and their caregivers. If you're in need of assisted living for a loved one, give us a call at Eplodolin. We're here for you.
Hey Wenatchee Valley, this is Ben Griffin. I'm here with my friend Eddie the Yeti. He wants to share some big news.
Arctic Refrigeration is now employee-owned and has a new name, Columbia Cooling and Refrigeration. I want you to remember this summer, when you're hot and sweaty, call the Eddie.
No, it's called the Yeti, Y-E-T-I, not called the Eddie.
Whatever. We are a factory-authorized Bryant dealer. Whatever it takes.
Give us a call at Columbia Cooling and Refrigeration at 509-662-5911.
COVID-19 has impacted all of us. Being healthy today might mean something different to you, your neighbor, or your colleague.
My healthy is getting back into the gym and eating right.
Finding resources to help with my health.
A message from Chelan Douglas Health District.
Connect with us on Networked as we introduce you to the people and organizations who are leading innovation in the region. Get inspired, engaged, and networked right here on the NCW Life channel.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So it's right here.
Don't stress, just save up to $250 on select tires with financing at our Les Schwab Fall Tire Sale. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
This is my Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, something I ask of my counseling clients is, how many times in the past few months have you lost your temper? Now, regardless of what they answer, I tell them the truth. The truth is that they've never lost their temper. None of us has. Because we don't lose our temper, we give it away. Now, no one makes me mad or makes me do anything unless I give up personal responsibility and let them control me. Saying I lost my temper is the same thing as saying that somebody else did something bad enough for me to act like a jerk, but it's their fault. And the scientific, clinical term for that kind of thinking is BS. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
Haunted Mansion returns to Lake Chelan. It's Harvest by Day. Haunted by Night. Experience the second annual Haunted Mansion all October long. Bring the whole family to experience fun harvest and haunted activities like the haunted house, haunted graveyard, pumpkin walk, pumpkin float, scarecrow competition, dog costume contest, and so much more. Get tickets to this year's bigger, scarier haunted house and get details on all the free activities by visiting hauntedmansion.com. That's hauntedmansion.com.
Scare Crazy in Kashmir. It's a spooktacular good time all month long in Kashmir. Scarecrows will be waiting for you throughout the town. Silly ones, spooky ones, and everything in between. Yeah, it's Scare Crazy in Kashmir. Bring the family and find the scarecrows all around Kashmir. And be sure to thank these fine sponsors. Weeds Cafe, breakfast, lunch, lattes, open 7 days a week.
Kashmir Veterinary Clinic is natural pet care in everything they do.
Funny thing about time, when you're young, summers seem to last forever. And then, before you know it, you're attending more retirement parties than you are baby showers. This is when you'll appreciate our own homegrown, nonprofit, Heritage Heights, working to provide every senior housing option our families might need, right here in the beautiful Lake Chelan Valley. Find out more at heritageheights.org.
Badger Mountain Brewery is your cure for boredom. Jam Night Mondays. Trivia Wednesdays. Live Music Fridays. And Sunday Brunch. There's always something brewing at Badger Mountain, so come join the party.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether,
we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in East Wenatchee, a place for the entire family. Open daily for lunch and dinner. We use only the finest ingredients, prepared fresh when you order. The full menu includes your choice of over 20 gourmet beef or chicken burgers. And catch your favorite game in their full-service lounge while sipping on an ice-cold beer. Bob's Burgers and Brew. Fast, friendly service. We will see you there.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. This Wednesday, literally, this is where you want to be if you're looking for a full-time job, a part-time job, or just a little extra cash to help you through the holiday season, because the Wenatchee School District is having a hiring event, a fair, if you will. And to talk about that and some of the jobs that are opening and how you go about doing it, and it ain't that hard, is Katie Batson, who is with the HR department here at the Wenatchee School District. Hello, Katie.
Hi, Dan.
So every year, school districts have a difficult time filling certain positions. Teachers, usually they retire out, new teachers. That's usually not an issue. Administration, support staff, stuff like this. But there's always a turnover in certain departments: custodial, food services, paraeducators, bus drivers especially. And yet this year, Katie, it's really acute. It's become an issue.
Yeah, we've really ran into an issue of not having enough classified staff to support the students' current needs. We've had a need for a number of paraeducators, including a lot of paraeducators working with our special education program. We need food service people to work in our kitchens and various buildings. We are always looking for bus drivers and substitutes for every position here at the district.
Why is it so acute this school year? How can you account for all of a sudden we really have a problem, as opposed to it's a little problem that we have to deal with every year, and now it's a big problem you got to deal with? What happened?
Well, we weren't able to fill all of our positions at the end of the year last year, so we still had open positions, and then we've had changes in student needs that have created a need to bring on several more paraeducators to work with the special education program. And with retirements, resignations, we've just hit that point where we need to bring on more staff.
And you've had more kids with developmental disabilities enter the school district this school year than you've ever had before. That's where the need for special education paraeducators have really come in.
Yeah, there has been an increased need this school year.
And the ratio of and correct me if I'm wrong, Katie, but the ratio of special education paraeducators to the students themselves is very low. It's almost one-on-one in many cases, correct?
There are some one-on-ones. There's some work with small groups. Yeah, it varies based on the needs of the students.
And thus you need more paraeducators.
We always need more paraeducators.
Would you say that's the most acute problem, is the paraeducator?
Right now, it is, yes.
So how many, I don't want to put you on the spot, but how many do you need?
We need 14 to 16 paraeducators, roughly, to work with our special education program, another 8 general ed paraeducators. Yeah. So
how do they go about doing it then? We'll concentrate first on the special education paraeducators. It's not a very high bar to cross to get that job, correct?
Mm-hmm. Right. So for all paraeducator positions, we just need people to come in, put in an application. There's a requirement to either have passed the paraeducator assessment test, or have an AA degree, or have 72 college credit hours.
So it's not that hard. All things considered.
No. The paraeducator assessment test is offered on a regular basis. We have resources to help people study for that and how to direct them to where they need to go to get signed up to take that test.
And I suppose the number one skill set for paraeducators is giving a damn. If you have that in your internal makeup, you're probably 3/4 of the way there, right?
Yeah, we like to work with students. I hear from paraeducators all the time how rewarding it is with some of the students that they work with, and then being able to help out and contribute. It can be a very rewarding job, and it's a part-time in the grand scheme of things for anybody that wants to work, but also wants to have their summer vacations and their holidays off with their kids.
We should mention this before we go any further for this big hiring event. It's from 4:30 to 7 here at the district office on Sunset Avenue here in Wenatchee. Do you encourage people to go online and start that process before they come down if they're interested? Does that help expedite things? Can you go to the website and do some advanced homework before you come down?
Yes, that is definitely an option. Our website has all of our current job postings on there. If somebody would like to go on there and see what we have available right now, and they can complete the online application there. It's a really easy process once you've completed an application once to go in and apply for any other job you may be interested in. But we'll also have people here on site and computers set up so that anybody who hasn't done an application before can sit down and do one while they're here. And I would encourage people to bring a resume so they have all of that information that they're going to need to complete their application. It's a fairly quick process, and like I said, we'll have people on site to help walk people through and make sure that they get applications in for any of the positions that they're interested in.
As Katie mentioned, there's an acute shortage in special education paraeducators, but also just regular paraeducators. What does a regular paraeducator do as opposed to a special education paraeducator? What's the difference between those two?
So it's just different students that they work with. The paraeducators that work in general ed classrooms may pull students out to do intervention with reading, or they may be providing lunch and recess supervision.
You mentioned lunch, nutrition service associates. You need that.
We need a few of those. Yes, we do. Yeah.
Explain, is that a fancy word for saying working in the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so those are our folks that keep the kids fed every day. They are doing, prep, cooking, serving. They are our staff that really make sure that all the kids are getting their meals every day.
And it doesn't eat up a great deal of time. You have a lot of free time during the course of the day. Even when you have, all of these jobs for the most part, it still involves some free time during the day.
Yeah, our nutrition services positions are probably the ones that have the biggest range of hours. We have 3-hour positions, 4-hour positions, 5-hour positions, 8-hour positions. So it can really vary based on what somebody's interested in.
Bus drivers, always, every year, every school year is a shortage of bus drivers. The Wenatchee School District has a big footprint. And every school, with the exception of I believe, Columbia, has bus routes. They go out and they're getting kids from the outskirts of their particular footprint of the school that they go to, and they got to get them to school. You always need those.
Yes, we always need bus drivers. We've had a lot of luck last year. We were almost fully staffed right there at the end of the year, and then we've had a little bit of turnover, of course. We're doing training for new classes of drivers every couple of months. So we are always looking to get people on board. They go through the training with us. It's paid to go through the training to become a bus driver, and then give them the opportunity to go on our substitute list and work. Again, like most of our other positions, there's work almost every day if they want to do it. And then we hire our ongoing, continuing bus drivers out of our sub pool.
And there's also the fact that the bus drivers take the kids to extracurricular activities, soccer games and whatever. There's always that. Too, so.
Yeah, our drivers transport students all over the place, whether it's field trips, after-school practices, sports games, any other event that we have going on.
Custodians, let's talk about that real quick. Full-time custodians and substitute custodians. You need those folks.
We do. We need our full-time custodians are 8 hours a day, year-round. They are our only job that is full-time, that doesn't have summers off. But we really need substitute custodians right now to fill in.
And no real job skill there, I suppose, right?
No, there's not a minimum requirement other than having a high school diploma and passing a background check. That's one thing for all of our positions. You have to have pass a background check to work in the school district.
I would pass that with flying colors, of course. Finally, before we cut you loose, I know you're busy. Substitute teachers, which isn't really on the list, but That's always a deal, right?
Yes, we're always looking for substitute teachers as well. And we have applications online if somebody's interested in being a substitute teacher and they have their teaching certificate or a specific skill set that may qualify them for an emergency cert. I would encourage people to go online and apply for those positions as well. They're another one that can work almost every day because we always have a need for substitutes.
It should be pointed out that, again, this event is Wednesday here in this very building, in this very room. It starts from 4:30, goes from 4:30 to 7. You say, I got kids. You know, the kids come over. I can't come down because I got to take care of my kids after school. You're going to have daycare here. You're going to have babysitters here, so they can segregate the kids and go, keep an eye on them while mom or dad does this thing, right?
Yeah, we're going to have a couple people on site to provide child care, so toys and coloring, things like that, to keep the kids entertained and give their parents an opportunity to speak with our administrators and directors about available positions, complete the application, and get all of their questions answered that they might have.
This might be, and Katie and I were talking about this off camera before we got set up. I know a lot of people who retired and they got bored, or they at least wanted to do something. This is a good thing maybe for them. From bus driving to be a paraeducator, you don't have to work particularly hard. The hours aren't full-time and long, but you still get you're still out there and contributing to the community and making a little bit of money while at the same time not sitting at home watching Matlock all day.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for people that are looking for a little something to do, whether they want to commit to being an ongoing employee in any of these positions or just want to substitute as they feel like it. One thing I would like to mention is that we have full benefits, medical, dental, vision, retirement for anybody that is contracted as a continuing employee for more than 3.5 hours a day.
And this might be the most important thing of all, and I've seen this. I have dozens and dozens of examples of this. People who come in and begin their career at the Wenatchee School, they don't think of it as a career. They say, I just want to work a little bit towards get some extra money, or I'm just out of high school or just out of college, and I don't. It turns into careers. It's if it turns out you're pretty good at it and you like it, before you know it, you've got a career. It's happened many times.
Yeah, we have people that come in and they think, I'm going to just work as a substitute paraeducator for a little while. And then they get into it and they enjoy it. And then they end up going back to school and becoming teachers and stay with us for years.
Those are the kind of stories you like, isn't it? It really is.
Yes.
Again, it's from 4:30 to 7 o'clock here in this very building at the Wenatchee School District at their headquarters on Sunset Avenue. As Katie mentioned before, go online. We mentioned just jobs in general, but there's a lot of jobs, and they're all on the district's website, which, by the way, is very well done. I don't know who does it, but it's very well done. And you can also expedite the process for what's happening here Wednesday by going in and doing some of the initial homework and some of the forms. You can fill them out right there online over the weekend or on today or Tuesday before you come down. Yeah,
they can go in and fill it out completely and apply for positions they're interested in. They can go online and start the application and then finish it up down here if they have any questions. We're also going to have staff on site to help with translating if needed. So we will have several Spanish-speaking staff members here.
And I'll leave you with this right now, Katie, while we're thinking about it, because I believe the school district, last I checked, is close to 50% Hispanic, maybe a little bit more student-wise. Is being bilingual going to help you a lot?
It's a huge advantage.
Okay, huge advantage. Just a heads up on that. Katie Batson from Human Resources here at the Wenatchee School District. I hope it goes well. I hope you're overwhelmed with people. I hope you have to turn people away on Wednesday. Wouldn't that be a nice problem?
That would be a great problem to have.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy day.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
When I was about 16, I got in a relationship. He hit me for the first time in front of his daughter. He physically abused me in front of my children. I couldn't do it no more. Sage was there for me when I needed them. I didn't hear a lecture from them. I didn't hear anything, but just acceptance. And that's what I needed at the time. And they help you with everything that you need to move on in life and heal.
Motion e-bikes have rolled out the new line of custom e-bikes. They have three-way adjustable folding e-bikes and full-size mountain e-bikes. Pedal assist and a throttle makes them a perfect fit for any rider. Green Motion e-bikes, located in the Mills Brothers building. Hello, television family. Grab your cup of coffee each weekday morning and join me. I'm Dan Kuntz, the host of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's everything you need to start your day. We're live and we're local at 7 a.m. every weekday on the NCW Life channel.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
As the sun sets in Chelan County, the lights come on. Birds, bugs, and us. We all need the night sky. Give our pollinators a little love. Add outdoor lighting controls to your local business. Chelan PUD can pay up to 100% of your new lights and lighting controls that save energy, save money, and help protect our night sky. With way bigger incentives from Chelan County PUD, now through December 31st.
All right, time to wrap up this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. As you can see behind me, it's the air quality right now is 52, so it's degraded a little bit. We're now into the moderate range. It was a little bit better about an hour ago, but it's still nice to be able to breathe the air for once. The good news, of course, is that cold front came through at low trough. It gave us all that nice wind yesterday afternoon, scoured out the skies, gave us some decent air, with the exception of Winthrop. You're at 123. Something happened there, and I don't know what it is, but you're at unhealthy for sensitive groups. That's the good news. The bad news with the associated winds, I made those fires above Lake Wenatchee. The White River fire, obviously, picking up in intensity with the low relative humidity. And unfortunately, the folks who keep a very close eye on this, with another high ridge, another pressure beginning to build up, and it's going to center itself really right over the top of Washington State. And it's going to be another well-entrenched high-pressure ridge, just like the one that gave us all the smoke not long ago. They think because of that, we can go right back to some pretty bad air by the end of the week. Sorry. For the long-term forecast, your 6 to 10-day temperature outlook, we're in a long stretch, 19 days in a row with our afternoon high temperature above normal. We're going to stay right there, right through the middle of the month. This starts on the 16th, goes through the 20th. A 90% chance of seeing temperatures not only above normal, but well above normal. What we really need, of course, is precipitation, a good dose of rain to put out the fires, or at least tamper them down. That is not in the forecast. At the same forecast period, the 16th through the 20th, we have a 70% chance of below normal precipitation. And the long-term forecast and the short-term forecast calls for no rain at all. We need it. From the National Weather Service, as you can see by this graphic, there's not a raindrop to be had. 75 is going to be the coolest high temperature of the forecast period. Keep in mind, our normal high temperature is 64 degrees. Can you believe that? 75, lots of sunshine today, 50 for the overnight low. Maybe a degree or two warmer on Wednesday. Again, 50 for the overnight low. Another degree or so warmer on Thursday. We start talking about the return of some dirty air Thursday night into Friday. Now, we didn't put it graphically because they're kind of hedging their bets on that. A lot of it depends on how active the fires are, but it looks like we may go right back to some pretty bad air by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If it wasn't for the smoke, we'd have some great weather. That's it for us. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.